Oy vey, I better put on my sky disguise. They might have caught me.
Yeah, thank you for clicking on my video. If you want to look at more like yin contrail art stuff, just skip the first hour. All right, I wanted to make a video, and I guess I'll start with like this hat. I love the hat. Look, it has lights. They're flashing. They have different settings. Woo! His little ears. Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm a little bit worried about the phone because it's kind of in like this precarious spot. So we'll see. We'll see if it stays put for the whole video, which isn't really the whole video. I'm going to put things together. Eventually there's going to be an art review, so you can just skip to the end if you want to look at like art stuff. And I might just upload the art thing as a separate video. But this is like, I don't know, we're getting pretty late into December, so I don't know how many more 2025 cake crash videos we'll get to make in 2025. But spoiler alert, it said forever, so we're gonna keep making videos even after 2025. Just so you know. Oh, I'm doing the pointing thing. I guess that means I'm AI, because I've been seeing more and more of these AI generated YouTubers, and they do a lot of hand flailing and stuff. Ironically, one of the ones that I was almost certain was AI was a YouTube video complaining about AI. Here, I'm going to turn that off. It was a video complaining about AI, which I'm almost certain was AI generated, which is hilarious. That means that there's people out there who might not have got it. They might be artists or musicians who are angry and upset about AI art and AI music, and they're gonna watch AI videos validating their victim complex, or like, oh, I'm a victim because AI exists. Oh no, there's a new tool out there that allows people to enhance their creativity. And honestly, like that still goes to the point of like, I love this hat, it's so cute. Little violet cadence hat, because it's violet but it's also a cadence, you know. Anyway, yeah, AI, you're complaining about AI on an AI video, and like, whatever. Like, I see it's problematic, but like, it doesn't matter. You know, I talked about this stuff before about how, and it's hypothetical, and I think it's a little bit paranoia, and it's a little bit like you, I'm totally, whatever. The script is not that important. There's a thing you'll hear a lot in conspiracy circles where it's like, oh, everyone knows the US military has like 5 years advanced technology, or they'll say 50 years, or some random number, you know, 100 million years advanced technology, whatever, 25 years, 5 years advanced. The military secret government has advanced technology, guys. Oh no. And like, do they really? I mean, maybe a generation or two, maybe they have the next Intel series processor, you know, maybe they're pulling like 12 gigahertz instead of 6 gigahertz or something. But like, what are you even doing with all that processing power? You know, whatever. I'm not necessarily like saying that in reasonable context it's not an extraordinary claim, but the way people in the conspiracy circles throw that around is like, you know, they're like, oh, they have flying saucers. I'm not so sure. I'm going to have to withhold judgment and say, you know, bring me some evidence that they have flying saucers. Oh cool, it's raining a little bit. Anyway, I'm glad I picked this car. I'm not even, no spoilers. I don't know the future, so I'm not even going to talk about things like that. But anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna try to get to the point, because I am a little bit, as you know, anyone is limited on like storage, and like I'm gonna have to review this. Well, I don't have to, but I prefer to like review videos before posting them, just to see that there's nothing too horrible. But yeah, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna start off by, you can't really see it too well, this is like a really nice hoodie. So I wanted to thank my cousin and his girlfriend for, this is my cousin's hoodie, and thank you for giving me this hoodie. It's super nice. It's perfect for this cold weather. Thank you so much. And I wanted to thank everyone. I wanted to go thank my aunt. Thank you so much for coming with us for Thanksgiving. It was really wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you for my cousin and girlfriend for hosting the Thanksgiving. Thank you for my girlfriend's family, for all you guys who came by. Thank you to my sister. Thank you all. It was a wonderful Thanksgiving. That was awesome. I'm totally super happy that I went there. So I got all that out of the way. Oh, I want to also shout out to my family. Because all of you guys, aunts, uncles, cousins, mom, dad, you know, all of you, thank you so much. 2025 K Crash has been super fun. I know it's kind of subpar quality, but this is like practice. The more videos I make, the better I get at it. The more art I make, the better I get at it. And I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for all of your guys' support. So thank you so much, genuinely. Like, I'm very, very appreciative of all of it, all of you guys, for helping me make this possible. And also for the internet engagement, thank you everyone who's liked my videos. Thank you everyone who's commented on my videos. Thank you everyone who's subscribed to my channel. I know there's some comments on my YouTube channel that I haven't replied yet. I will read your comments. This, you know, once again, I'm letting you know you still have a chance to delete the comment. If you don't delete your comments, I will be reading them. I do intend to make one final comment reading video before the end of the year. So thank you guys so much. And it's not too late. If you want to get into a 2025 year era, 2025 K Crash comment reading video, you can go ahead and comment on this video or comment on any of my past videos, and I will write down your comments. Like, I just printed this out. I've been using my new printer, but like, I will handwrite all of the comments that I have not read, and I will read them on a video before the end of the year. So there's a little preview for the next video. So I think I got all that out of the way. And if you've watched this far, I have an idea of how I'm going to edit the video together. You probably already saw the meme of me that Dave J made. So I wanted to start off by saying thank you, Dave J. This is the first time anybody has ever made a meme with my face. It's freaking hilarious. First AI generated use of my face. And the meme is funny. I love it. Like, I watched it over and over again and was just like, laughing so hard I was almost crying. Like, thank you so much. Like, seriously, you're awesome. No hard feelings, for real. Thank you. God, I'm just, fuck. Sorry. Oh God, that was great. Shout out. Cheers. My very first meme of me. And you all probably already watched it, because I think I'm gonna make it the very beginning of this video. I'm gonna just drop that in. Also, it makes more sense why I'm wearing my hat, one of my favorite hats. But I got this in New Mexico about a year ago when we all traveled to California for Christmas. Okay, I'm gonna read all this as quickly as I can. Okay, to Dave J, thank you for the meme. I guess I'm just gonna have to read the script. Okay. And this is a quote. I'm just going to read the quotation because, like, you can really quote me on this. I wrote it and I stand behind this. Okay. And like, honestly, like, it's an ongoing investigation. I'm actually working on a documentary actively. I have a lot of footage already about the Independence Center Mall. I'm working on a documentary. No real spoilers. Plus, also, like, legitimately, I'm scared. because there is a possibility. Like, look, I'm not that scared. Like, I don't care, but like fear is a factor, Joe Rogan, fear factor. Anyway, like genuinely, consider the possibility of investigating a cold case, that there could be someone, on the loose, homicide, and going around asking questions about that, getting involved in gang violence, like almost needlessly, so like it's not really an investigation of like who done it, but I'm still at the what is it kind of level, even though we already went over this on the show. I called in, we talked about it, and I've kind of had to accept that, it's still, I believe it's more likely real than fake, but it could be fake. And that's the point. That's where I'm going to start off, acknowledging the reality of the situation. Go ahead, say half-stepping, criticize me all you want, but like, like I'm going to say it. Look, the shooting in San Diego, California mall, that one is highly suspicious. Who says like I'm laughing because I'm traumatized? Like, these people seem like crisis actors, and you know what? It would be unreasonable for me not to expect the same level of skepticism to be pointed at me. If I'm going to call somebody a crisis actor for being interviewed on the news after a mall shooting, then I should be ready to have that same argument thrown at me. And like, I can't prove it. Like, we're going to get into this with my comment, but like, I can't prove it. I had an opportunity to go to the big circle of police officers. I could have walked up there and kind of tried to peek in between them and see, the blood on the ground before it was wiped up, or fake blood. And like, even visually, I wouldn't necessarily have been able to tell. Like, even if I had done that, even if I had walked over there and looked, like, I mean, who knows? Like, how elaborate is the fakery? Like, blood has a smell. If you've ever been around real violence, like, and I'm not even talking homicides. I'm talking like, I've been in a situation where in my house when I lived in Kansas, there was a violent incident where two people started like bare knuckle boxing each other, and you could smell the blood in the air. And then later, one of the people, attempted suicide. He attempted cutting his wrists and almost bled out that night. And the cops came, of course. But like, there is a distinct smell of blood in the air, and you will recognize it if you've ever been around violence. And, so, but I mean, would I, genuinely, like, these questions matter. It's dark, it's granular, it's getting into the nuance, but it matters if we're really going to talk about what's real and what's fake, and how far will somebody go on fakeability. So, would animal blood smell like human blood? I don't think so, because I've hunted before. I've shot deers, and so like, deer blood doesn't smell like human blood. All right, I know that from experience. Okay, so I don't really know like pig blood, but whatever. So like, suppose the most elaborate fakery, they're not using Heinz ketchup, they're not using Spirit Halloween store, maybe they're using animal blood. Who knows? These people are like, obviously, if, we know that the fakery is highly well funded. So who knows? Maybe they're actually this is really unethical, but like, you could go get donor blood from like Red Cross or something and like spill it all over somewhere and have it warmed up, and it would replicate, it would literally be the smell of human blood. And so like, you could go to a scene, you could see blood, you could smell it, you could even like, like TV style, poke your finger in it and taste it and be like, this is human blood. Like, don't do that. You could get probably sickness or something, but it's like, seriously. And it could still be fake. It could still be a fake incident, even with real human blood. Just pointing it out. Just saying, how elaborate this really could be, this thing that we're investigating, this systematic psy-war fakery. And anyway, I just wanted to read this thing. Okay, quote me on this. It is possible that nobody died and nobody got hurt. I made a mistake agreeing to do the news interviews. I was an unpaid crisis actor. Full stop. I was an unpaid crisis actor. You know, even if it was a real event, the way that the news used me in those interviews was for psychological terror. You know, it's not necessary. Like where's the benefit of that? Even if there's a real incident, even if there's a real shooting, how does the civilization, the TV watchers, how do they benefit from random eyewitness, ear witness, in my case, interviews of a homicide? And even at the time, according to the official story, at the time the woman who was shot wasn't even dead yet. It took a few days of her in the hospital before she actually died. If that's the true story. Once again, I'm acknowledging that it is possible. It is in the realm of fakeability. And that's a fundamental philosophical acknowledgement. It's epistemology. Like, what do I know? What don't I know? I do not know conclusively that the homicide did happen. It is possible to fake it. But is it fakeable on scale? Are we really going to argue that every single case of gang violence is fake? And that all gang wars are fake? Like, that doesn't really work. That's because gang violence is not an extraordinary claim. You know, there's morgues full of unidentified gunshot victims. That's real. That's empirical. Anybody can go and look at the dead people in the morgue and see that that's just part of reality, that people die. And sometimes people die in violent situations. Okay? Sorry, but a lot of times there's fake deaths. And that's also part of reality. That's empirical. That people, there is systematic fakery for the purposes of psychological terrorism. Like, both of these things exist. Yeah, I was not really knowing what to expect with this video, but it is going to be challenging. Okay, anyway. But the point that I was getting, I know it seems like I'm doing damage control and backpedaling, but yeah, I was an unpaid crisis actor. Even if it was a real shooting, the news interviewing me was totally pointless at best, and the reality is that I contributed to the Psy War, and that's the quote. And so I could just read the quote again, and then I'm going to try to speed read through all of my comment. Okay. It is possible that nobody died and nobody got hurt. I made a mistake agreeing to do the news interviews. I was an unpaid crisis actor. Even if it was a real shooting, the news interviewing me was totally pointless at best, and the reality is that I contributed to the Psy War. Yeah, unfortunately, that's just where it is. People learn from stuff, like, tough, Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and try to read the rest of this. Thanks for the DM, but we can have this conversation in the open. I am not a practicing Jew. For what it's worth, we have this family joke about being Jewish, but I have never taken a genetic test, and I don't intend to. I am not into racism. If you care, I'm mostly German and Irish, and possibly some French. I value people's arguments. That's one thing that, has always, for as long as I can really remember, I've never really let go of that. Like, I don't care about your genetic makeup, your sex, any of that stuff, or even to a certain, I don't even care what name you have for God, or even if you're an atheist or whatever. Like, that's not relevant. Like, that, because that's literally ad hominem, Ever since I was a kid and learned about logic and logical fallacies, I've been all on that. So it would be the antithesis of my personal belief system to be practicing logical fallacies. And it's taken me a long time to be able to put that into the practice in order to build up the systems of knowledge and epistemology and understand what is fakeable. That's a big thing that really a lot of people can't grapple with, is fakeability question, especially on these big scale events, these mass shootings, all, you know, that to consider that it's fakeable, that it's not a false flag, that it's not like, oh, the government killed them and then they used a patsy, but that it's fakeable, that potentially there are no dead bodies at these mass shooting situations, you know, or even other smaller time psyops, you know, shooting with no deaths, but just a shooting with injuries could be entirely fake and maybe nobody got injured. You know, that's plausible because there's a utility to it. That's the point, is that there's a utility to it in terms of psychological warfare and in terms of manipulating the public. And these things matter. And it's not even necessarily a criticism like we talk about. It's like, this is the superstitions that the rulers create and foment in the masses in order to maintain peace, in order to keep people distracted and busy and you know, protect themselves. Like, it's naturally self-defense. Like, think about it. If you were in a position of being a king or a president, the last thing you want to do is risk a civil uprising. You don't want to, you know, get French Revolution. You don't want to end up on a guillotine. Whether that history is real or fake, to consider the possibility, you can understand the motives of the people in power, why they create psyops, why they push fake death, because it serves a utility. It's reasonable. Anyway, okay. I value people's arguments. I don't care about, there were some little typos in here. I don't care your sex, skin color, genetics, or orientations. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not a racist. I'm not an elitist. I don't think I'm a chosen person. I think all humans are humans. You know, every single person is capable of logic, reason, and argumentation, and statistical trends do not define individuals. So, and not only are statistics fakeable, but even if the statistics are real, they don't define individuals, and it's unethical and it's illogical to dismiss someone's argumentation or their humanity based on statistical arguments or your own past experiences. It's, you know, for lack of a better word, it's messed up. It's unethical. And it's also illogical to be like, you know, oh, somebody who looked like you did something mean to me once, therefore everyone who looks like this, you know, I'm just gonna no longer respect them. I'm no longer gonna, you know, give them a time of day. I'm gonna dehumanize them. Like, that's, you know, it's bad thinking. And it's only hurting you if you internalize those ideas. You know, like, because, like, you know, nobody's missing out if someone has that kind of bad thinking, that, like, you know, racist, sexist, whatever kind of thinking, where they're going to dismiss someone's humanity and they're going to refuse to, like, intellectually grapple with someone's arguments because of their body. You know, you're going to, like, body shame someone. You're going to ad hominem them. Well, then fine, do it. You know, like, you're only hurting yourself by behaving that way. We're not missing you. That oh no, oh, I'm so, you know, oh, poor me, I don't get to, like, oh God, I might offend some racists by making this video. Oh no, if someone is racist and they see this video, they might unsubscribe. They might hit the dislike button. Oh, it's a big loss to me. No, it's a loss to you because of your bad thinking. You're gonna miss out on stuff. You're gonna, you know, dig yourself into a hole. So go ahead and keep digging, dude. Like, whatever. You know, fundamentally, it's not my problem, because thanks to, you know, in no small part thanks to IPS, but all sorts of other exposures and knowledge and reason and my own personal dedication to philosophy and truth, because of that, I've been able to get to this level of intellectual clarity. And that's why I'm, like, totally cool with making this video and reading this stuff, because it matters to me. It's worth it. You know, even if it gets censored or something, you know, whatever. I'm gonna go change it up a bit here. Woo! All right. I'm getting into serious mode. Okay, let's read this line again. I am not into racism. Okay. I value people's arguments. I don't care about your sex, skin color, genetics, or orientations. I shared that interview to compare it to the recent one in Cali because it's relevant, because I know that I was not being paid to lie on camera. And so for me, it's useful because I can compare my mannerisms to the mannerisms of someone who, I mean, let's be honest, I can't prove it, but I suspect based on their behavior that those people being interviewed in the California mall shooting, San Jose, whatever, they were behaving suspiciously. They were behaving like they're being paid to be there, like they're lying. I don't trust them because of their body language, and there's other reasons for that, but that's just one. It's a hoax indicator. And so the more hoax indicators that add up, the more we can be likely to call something probably fake instead of probably real. Once again, considering that the burden of proof is not on us. The burden of proof is on the media, which has been shown time and time again that the media lies and does not correct its lies. So it's not our burden of proof. We're skeptics. We are entitled and right to withhold judgment. That's what epicy is about. And you don't want to forget that. You don't want to misplace the burden of proof, because that's something that keeps people trapped into this media system, is that they think that they have to prove that the media is a liar in a specific case, like that I have to prove that it was a fake shooting. And it's like, no, the media has to prove that it's a real shooting. That's the way it works because of the lying nature of media. That's what it's about, being a blind skeptic. So it's not in the individual thing, but it's a collection of things that makes you say, okay, this is probably fake. And that's why it was valuable for me to bring up, in my case, or whatever, like, so, and that's the whole point of me, like, expanding on this, is that even though I wasn't being paid to lie, even though I tried my best to because I didn't realize how heavily, even though I knew there was a potential they were going to edit it, I didn't realize how much of the interview they were going to cut out, which they cut out a lot. They totally misrepresented what I said on the camera when I said people should practice skepticism and objectivity, when I said people should withhold judgment, when I said, I don't know if there's a shooting or not. I only heard loud noises. I'm paraphrasing, but I said something like pretty much that to that effect. And they did not put that in the news. They only put the part where it seemed like I was validating the shooting, where I was, talking about how my boss at the time reacted to it, and he was saying, oh yeah, we've had shootings before, which, once again, these are believable because, like, for those of you who don't like live in the Midwest or like in Missouri or the Kansas City area, like, guns are very prevalent. We don't even need background checks to buy guns. Like, I've bought and sold a lot of guns. I own guns. I sometimes carry guns, even though I don't really, I'm not afraid of mass shootings. But yeah, there's real violence, especially for, gang members and criminals, and if you were in Independence Center, you would see that it's a very empty place. And there's, I suspect that there's gang activity going on in Independence Center. And a lot of people would probably agree with that. Anyway, excuse me. Yeah, the bottom line is I was not paid to lie. And so it's a valuable comparison to look at someone who, compare the body language and reactions and stuff. And it doesn't line up. The way I was behaving in the interview was not like the one in California. And maybe that's a cultural difference, but I think it's more than that. I think that it's possible, it's suspicious, like, we can't prove it, it's kind of a statement of incredulity. But, like, and it's about narrative setting too. This is what matters. This is creating a narrative. And then they have this narrative of, I don't feel safe in the mall, I want to shop online. It's a narrative of terror. And so, at least they left the part in where I said I feel safer in the mall than most places. And that is counter to the narrative of terror, of psychological terror. And they did leave that part in, so I have to give them credit. because that's still true. I still feel safe in the mall, even with everything I've said. I don't feel afraid. You know, like the reason that I sometimes conceal carry is not out of fear as much as it is about duty. And that is a whole other thing. You know, this video is not about whether or not you should carry a gun or even whether or not people should have access to guns. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is for me to just attempt to read this all, and it's already gone on for 30 minutes. So I just want to try to read it. You know, I think I've made my arguments pretty well. Okay, yeah. I shared that interview to compare it to the recent one in Cali. I know that I was not paid to lie. I see how I was used by the news media to promote psychological terror despite my best efforts to do the opposite. And this doesn't matter. This is part of my thank you, you know, but like, why do you think I got a job at the mall in the first place? And I can expand on this. It wasn't just to like disprove stuff, but it was also because like at the time, and I still am getting more into art, but I was getting into art. I had literally like just purchased my first custom printed t-shirt. And then it was just this really cool, like kind of coincidence, synchronicity that like I had just got my first printed t-shirt or two. I know I ordered 2 of the same shirts. Maybe I'll do a review on them. I think I got off Printify or whatever, but I don't want to get into that right now. But the point is, it was cool because I had just got the printed shirts and I had made a very just deliberate decision. I went into the mall as an art reference because I'm getting into art. I still am, but like the mall is beautiful. I think it's an architectural marvel. And I wanted to go into the mall to like do some drawings of it and just to appreciate the architecture and to like be inspired in my own art. And then it just happened to be that the custom t-shirt store had a we're hiring sign right on there. And so I just went in and talked to them and I ended up getting a job there. And the only reason that happened was because I was not afraid of a mass mall shooter. And the only reason I wasn't afraid of some bowl cut shooter mass shooting the mall was because I had like, you know, been grappling with some of the ideas that are shared on the Infinite Plane Radio through Infinite Plane Society. You know, these ideas of like, you know, being aware of the psychological terrorism and its function. You know, the whole point is to make people afraid of going to the mall and stuff like that. You know, you're supposed to be scared of dropping your kids off to grade school because they're going to get, you know, killed. And it's about keeping people in a state of terror. And so having that awareness takes the terror away because you know the mechanisms and the psychology behind it. And it creates, you know, ataraxia. It's not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but it gets you a higher level of peace and it allows you to do things like what I did, which was get the job in the mall in the first place. So I just get back into it. Why do you think I got a job in the mall in the first place? Why was I ever fearless enough to fly a helicopter? Like, yeah, no shit. You know, if I was afraid, if I was still thinking the way I was before I was like exposed to this philosophy and learned about it willingly, it wasn't like just some mind virus that I caught. Like I made conscious choice to adapt this to my life and it was worth it. Like I don't regret flying a helicopter. You know, there was some good times and bad times, and who knows if I'll ever be able to make a job out of it or what the future of my aviation piloting career will be. But the bottom line is, like, before my shift of my psychology and my evolution of my personal philosophy, like, I was terrorized. I was scared. I had an internalized victim complex. And like, it's you know, not everyone's ever going to get out of that. Most people are still stuck in the psychological terror. Most people are still clinging to their victim complex. Most people are deep in the cognitive dissonance. That's just reality, you know, and you can't force somebody to wake up. No matter how many times you explain things to them or, you know, present the information, if they're not open to it, if they're not going to make the conscious decision to engage with it and open their philosophy to new information, then they're just unreachable, and you have to accept that. You know, this is never going to be a revolution. It's totally reasonable what we've been talking about. Like, in 30 years from now, things are probably going to be the exact same. You know, you can bet on the status quo. It's totally reasonable to make, investments in the S&P 500 or Dow Jones or whatever, because like it's not going anywhere, probably, and even if the market does kind of in an isolated small way, like have ups and downs and crabbing and stuff, like the general trend of things is not going to change that dramatically. There's no reason to believe that. There's no reason to believe that all of a sudden everyone's going to wake up and be like, oh, NASA's fake, nukes are fake, let's go have a ground war now. Like, it's not going to happen. I really don't think so. I literally do have money bet on it. Maybe one day we'll get into like my stock stuff. And honestly, it's ugly. You don't want to see my investment portfolio. I just looked at it again. Like, it's not bad. It's not like I'm out. I've gained. I'm in the green, but still, it's like shit. Like I say, that's not for now. Oy vey! God. Yes, thank you. Because why was I ever fearless enough to fly a helicopter? Because of IPS. That's why I'm not afraid of bowl-cut mass murderers shooting up a mall. I got a job there to prove to myself that these things don't exist. True. And if I heard a simulation or gang-related gunfight, I don't know. I'm sorry we're like 35 minutes in by the time I'm getting to the end of this, because the bottom line is like, kind of a serious note about life and choices. So if I heard a simulation or gang-related gunfight, I don't know. I don't know. That's the bottom line. I have to practice epichy. That's it. I can't judge. It would be wrong for me to make a judgment, so I'm not going to make a judgment. And I'm going to have to get all the ataraxia, all the peace of mind I can out of the epichy, which is the honest truth, that I am not going to make a conclusive judgment about something when I don't have the evidence. I had one chance to look, and I chose not to. My reason was that I was too afraid. There were other compounding justifications and reasonings for why I didn't go run up to the big circle of police officers and try to look at the person who just got shot, but bottom line, I didn't. And fear was enough of a significant factor that I'm just going to reduce it and be honest and be like, I was scared. I was scared of the consequences of that decision. So I didn't look, and even looking wouldn't 100% prove, but it would have been an additional piece of evidence to kind of weigh whether it was real or not. Like I say, I still think it was probably real, but like I just went over really clearly, epichy, I can't judge because I don't have conclusive evidence. I'm not the family. I'm not the coroner. I'm not the doctor in the hospital. I'm not the people who have conclusive evidence whether it was real or fake. That's the truth. I have to live with that. I have to live with that. I have to live with the epichy. I have to live with my decisions. My decision not to go look, my decision to limit the investigation. Like I could have been a lot more active. I could have been trying to chase down eyewitnesses. I could have tried to interview doctors, but I didn't, I could have tried to interview the family, all sorts of stuff. Like shit, if I could try to go dig up the grave, whatever. I'm not going to. I'm just going to live with it. I'm going to live within the past, practice epichy. It's pretty much on the shelf as a cold case. That's the way it is for me. You're welcome to your own interpretation. You're welcome to call me a Jewish shill because I'm not like immediately saying, oh, it's fake. It has to be fake. Sorry, not all violence is fake, dude. There is some real violence. Sometimes innocent people get caught in the crossfire of gang violence. It's not an extraordinary claim. That's just the reality that we live in. And it's also not saying that the things that are, pretty obviously fake, which I don't even need to name because we've gone over them more than enough times. If you aren't caught up to speed, just spend more time, studying the philosophy and applying it yourself, and also, or listening to the show, whatever. Or, it's not like IPS is the only place, it's not like IPR is the only one, but they are more or less the tip of the spear as far as I've found. And if anyone knows any other places, there's Fakeotube, Fakeologist, there's other people, that we could mention, but nobody really does it the way IPS does it. I don't know how you do it, IPS. You have some kind of superpower of dedication, and it's admirable. and I respect that a lot. You know, I wish I could give more. I wish I could, you know, support more the philosophy, because it's meaningful. It matters. This ataraxia matters. It's liberating to be free of the psychological terror as much as possible. Like, it's changed my life for the better, and I would never want to go back. So anyway, that was the end of that comment. I have to live with that. I have to live with not knowing. I have to live with epicy. And I'm not going to investigate it that hardcore. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I know I have a press pass. I know I'm, you know, committed to investigating newsworthy events in the Kansas City area, but I'm not going to go interview the family. I'm not going to go try to dig up a grave or try to talk to a doctor. I'm just going to leave this in the past. There's other things that I can better spend my time doing, okay, other than chasing, you know, likely real dead bodies. I mean, I'm not ruling out going to a morgue and looking at dead people, John Does and Jane Does. You know, I'm not ruling that out. But as far as this specific case, the November 10th mall shooting in Independence Center, like, that's a cold case for now. I'm not really fucking with it. Like, the only reason I'm interested in documenting the Independence Center, well, not the only, but the primary 99% reason is for architectural documentation. Like, that thing really should be on, like, the National Register of Historic Places. It's a beautiful building. It should be preserved. It matters. The Independence Center is great. It's wonderful. It's super cool. And I love it. You know, I love the building. I think it's a great place, you know, and there's a spirit of it. And the spirit isn't just the building, it's the people too. All right. See if I can keep this under an hour, right? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to read the other comment. Now that I've done responding to Dave J. Thanks again for the meme. Anyway, 2, One-Eye Jack. You're awesome. You're awesome. I love your music. You made some really great music. I kind of put that in the end. But anyway, the response was like, yes, and I don't want to, you know, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, this is going to come off kind of rude. But, I mean, come on. I'm trying to be honest here. I don't want to 100% trust what he says for the exact number. However, based on the condition of the mall, I do believe there were multiple non-fatal shootings there as a result of drugs and gang activity. It's not an unreasonable or extraordinary claim. And okay, in no mean do I, it's like, seriously, guys, seriously, this is not supposed to be trash talking you at all. I love you, like, for real, from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys, for real. Like, in no way do I mean to talk bad about any custom t-shirt business or their owners or employers or employees. I have nothing but respect and gratitude for everyone I worked with, for real. Like, this was like my most favorite job, like, way up there. I loved working with you guys. I love making t-shirts. I love doing art, and a t-shirt, a custom printed t-shirt, is one of the most beautiful, fun, and awesome art mediums ever. It was like a life-changing job. It killed me to have to leave. And I'm sorry. I was a dick. I was a bad employee. You know, I could have done better. And I resolved to, like, live as a better person and try to turn my life around as much as I can. You know, I mean, time's getting to me, but for real, like, guys, I give you my gratitude, my respect, 100%. You guys are awesome. You know, I'm sorry that I have to call you out on this, that I don't, you know, I don't even trust myself. Like, I don't really recall, even at the time, that necessarily what your word for word statement was about how many shootings there were before, you know, what, 7, 13, I don't know. There's some story, something that dude said, and I swear he said it more than one time, and the number was changing when he was saying it, but I don't know. You know, it's as much, you know, this is what the thing about, like, you know, it's not reality shifting, it's the imperfection of human memory. So, like, no judgment if you don't recall exactly how many mall shootings you've been through, and no judgment if it's on me for misremembering the number that you said. You know, it could just as well be my memory being bad as you making a misstatement about the number of incidents that you've lived through. But I don't think that you're lying. You know, I think it's reasonable. Like I say, it's not an extraordinary or unreasonable claim that there are several several non-fatal shootings that have occurred in Independence Center and at other malls around the Kansas City area. Of course. You know, it's not a mass, it's not some bowl cut AR-15 wielding mass shooter gunning down hundreds of people or dozens of people. Like, it's not like that. It's just regular run-of-the-mill local news, forget about it the next day type of gang activity. Like, this stuff happens. Half the time these kind of things don't even get reported. Like, you know, not to get into my past, but like, I would have known. I've seen shit that didn't get reported in the news. So whoop-de-fucking-do. You know, that's life. You know, gangs exist. People do violent, stupid shit all the time, especially young kids. For real. Okay, so that was my response to One Eye Jack. Like I said, once again, great music. You're a wonderfully talented artist. You're a badass musician. Keep doing you. You're great. Totally. Hell yeah. Thank you so much. Even for like acknowledging and let alone, you know, you're great. Your music is awesome. Okay. 45 minutes in. All right, I could speed read through this stuff. One last thing for now. Thank you, IPS, for teaching me how to debunk the Mandela effect. Thank you. For real, once again. I used to unironically believe that. I did believe Mandela effect. I actually thought that reality was shifting, you know, and it got really out of hand near the end of my belief on that. Like, at first it was kind of like, oh, Mandela, oh, Berenstain. And then eventually it turned into like, oh my gosh, the shape of the continents are shifting. Oh my gosh, human kidneys are shifting places inside. Like, it's fucking, no, it's totally interrogator bias. The Mandela effect, you know, we've already debunked it. I'm not going to go through all this again. You know, it's on you guys to like take what I'm saying and follow through with your own personal philosophies and investigations. I'm not going to spoon feed you too much, especially not right now. Feel free to leave a comment, ask some questions, or share your opinions about the Mandela effect. You know, I'm welcome any new information. We're open to new information. Anyway, I used to unironically believe that life is much better without all of the cognitive dissonance. True. I get if you want to call me a Jew. I even thought that I could write a book about how I used to be an alt-right pseudo-Nazi and how my beliefs evolved from voting for Trump in 2016 to studying NASA fakery. 2021 was a big year for me because that is when I really started to crack from my awareness of the cognitive dissonance and the futility of trying to argue with the believers stuck in the political circus. I don't know what I would do without the IPS. Like, this is really like me thanking you guys. Probably still believe in the white, I don't want to say this for like censorship purposes, but like, you know, that stuff that the alt-right people are pushing, that like, oh, we're being genocided, you know, because like, oh, the media is brainwashing people to not, you know, like this whole baby making competition, it's offensive and degrading and dehumanizing. Just, you know, get over it. Like, nothing wrong with having kids, but like, you know, just don't, you know, it's not going to help you to be racist about it or to have a victim complex about it. You're just poisoning your own mind. That's the reality of this W genocide philosophy, you know. And a lot of other people on the left side have their exact same parallel philosophy where they're being genocided by the people in power. And, you know, I don't even want to get into it. I'm just pointing it out what my former beliefs were and how IPS changed, you know, their philosophy. In addition to other factors, it helped me improve my life and improve my thinking and improve my attitudes and give me, you know, I'm just in a better place now, you know. Thank you so much. What would I do without you guys? Yeah, or some kind of victim complex like that. Probably still believe in that thing or some victim complex like that. So this is an informal thank you to everyone here. And I'm aware of dead internet theory. I don't even want to talk about it because, like, what's the point? oh, the AI could be like actively sabotaging my videos. So like when you watch my video, the AI is censoring or warping my language. Like, I don't even care. You know, I don't necessarily believe that that's happening. You know, like shadow banning, sure, but like AI distortions of me, you know, it's possible, but I think unlikely. Like I don't think that I'm that important. Like, why would they waste the processing power, money, and time to do something like that? I don't know. Like, once again, epicy. We're gonna practice epicy about the dead internet theory, and we're gonna make YouTube videos anyway. We're gonna keep doing that. You know, we're gonna actually be active in the meatverse. That's what art is about. That's what the second half of this video that I haven't even started yet, but I will be making, is gonna be all about. It's gonna be all about art, and art is gonna be in the meatverse. I'm gonna have, as my art gets more refined, eventually it's going to have a presence in the real world. There's going to be physical books, there's going to be stickers, there's going to be plushes, there's going to be fursuits. It's going to be awesome because art is cool and interacting in the real world is cool. It's so much cooler than all this digital nonsense. A real conversation face to face with another human being is impossible to screw with, you know, other than, well, it's just not, you know. And if that person chooses to be blocked to what you're saying to them, then that's on them if they're not open to new ideas, you know. It's not like, oh, I'm a victim because I'm shadow banned, or oh, the AI is going to distort my words and face and make me say and do things that I would never do, you know. Well, big fucking deal. It's just some bullshit on a screen, you know. If you want to figure me out, have a face-to-face conversation with me. Like, it's not like I'm impossible to find. Like, I'm out here. I'm a pretty distinct looking individual. Whatever. I'm not scared of having conversations with people. I'm not scared of debating people. I'm not afraid of being squibby kirked, you know. Okay, and I'm aware of dead internet theory. I'm going to bring this up again because I'm a little bit sour about it, and it's in the text anyway. I even wrote about typing into a broken keyboard, and I maintain everything. And those who know what I wrote about typing into a broken keyboard. All right? Those who don't know, whatever. A lot of that information is lost, and I don't care because the philosophy is built on that, and there's no need to rehash the past when we're at a better place in the present anyway. So I wrote about typing into a broken keyboard. I even was foolish enough to pick sides during the thing that happened that we will not name in this place, and I'm not even going to get into this. I realized, thanks to IPS, that both sides are using the same faulty causality arguments, and that the correct position remains anti-anti and anti-pro. I literally don't need to say any words beyond what I just read, so I'll read that sentence one more time and we're going to move on. I realized, thanks to IPS, that both sides are using the same faulty causality arguments, and that the correct position remains anti-anti and anti-pro. I am open to new information, so feel free to reach out. I don't want to go on too much because I'm really not much of a contributor. That's the truth. Other people are better than me. You know, I'm not going to like put myself on a pedestal. Whatever. Feel free to reach out. I don't want to go on too much because I'm really not much of a contributor. I'll come back when any newsworthy events happen in the Kansas City area, or if I ever publish a worthy philosophy book. Thank you. Genuinely, thank you so much, everybody who's watched this video. Thank you to everybody. Just universal thank you. For real, I'm just, very grateful right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and just say that. Also, good to see you again, Cubstar. You're really cool, dude. You're like super knowledgeable about stars and stuff, and like, you're more of a contributor than I am to IPS, and probably you're more intelligent and lucid and whatever. I'm kind of a mess. If you haven't noticed, I'm kind of, a bit of a mess. But I'm happy being me, and I'm happy that I have, some kind of internet community you know, and I'm happy for my real life community too. I love all my friends and family and all of y'all, you know. I'm just expressing happiness and gratitude for like everything, my situation in life and the whole world. That's everything that I've been given, and I can only hope to be able to make something good to give back, to make the world a more, you know, pleasurable, less painful place. Okay, sweet. Oh my god, I killed it. Yes. All right, so that's all my comments. And I added this little blob at the end to kind of get me started on the art video. We got 5 minutes till we hit the hour mark. So I'm just going to run through this really quick and then flip the vision, and we're going to do art stuff now. It's a little bit embarrassing, but you probably should have figured it out already anyway. And like, this is kind of like, you know, it serves a utility. So I'm not going to hold back. I'm just going to read it and deal with whatever happens. Now that I have that finished, I will add a few personal notes. I have a formal diagnosis. I have autism and anxiety. I do not have apophenia, so armchair psychologists can move on. And like, you're like, oh, well, you're talking about anorexia, but you're diagnosed with anxiety. Yeah, you know what? The anxiety stuff was like a bajillion times worse before, back when I was like a Trump voter. Like, crippling, destructive, unhealthy anxiety that kept me in really bad situations psychologically, as well as like financially, and just, you know, all kind of poor life decisions. Like, my life is so much better than it was in 2016. I have so much less anxiety now than I had in 2016. So don't get it twisted. Just because I didn't have my diagnosis of autism and anxiety in 2016, like just having the acknowledgement when I got diagnosed, and it wasn't just autism, it was like anxiety, and I was like, wow, damn, that was like a huge, it's so counterintuitive, but like way less anxiety, because like I could finally, like, I had a, you know, it's like calling things by their names. Like, everyone experiences anxiety, you know, but so, you know, anyway, that's the point. But I know apophenia, and it's not like I don't talk about stuff like, dude, I talked to my therapist about Mr. CK probably just being, you know, Heinz 57 and probably isn't dead, you know, and no apophenia. So that's BS. That's BS. It's not just some, we're imagining patterns here. You're like, no. You know, no, you know, freaking reap the wrath of the autism with anxiety, but no apophenia. Whoops. Okay, anyway. Armchair psychologists can move on or not. I'm not complaining about engagement. Like, seriously, if you want to try to like armchair diagnose me in the comments, fine. Every comment is like, you know, thank you so much, you know. So I'm not adverse to criticism. Like, I welcome it. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of accepting arguments and not being like a racist prick, like, or sexist or whatever. Like, if you want to argue things, then argue things. I don't care who you are as a person. I'm not going to ad hominem you. I'm going to do my best to take your words and grow from them and learn from them. Whether I agree or don't agree, it's an opportunity for learning and engagement, and I welcome it. I'm very, you know, ironically kind of pro-social person, you know, is as limited as my socializing energy is. Like, I'm kind of like cool with like engaging with people. All right, I don't think I can read this in a minute. Really, I'm breaking an hour. Okay. In some ways, I could acknowledge that this video is an exercise in futility. I know that my audience is small, and I can't know if my video will be censored or altered. With all that said, I'm not going to give up on YouTuber art, so I'm going to share some art and just freestyle for the rest of this video. Thank you for watching. Holy shit, I did that in less than a minute. Thanks for watching. All right, flipping camera art review time. These are awesome drawings. Like, this is amazing. I just turned to a random page in this book and was like, yes, this is how we're going to start the video. All right, I'm going to count to 4 here. One. Actually, I'm counting to 5. Spoiler alert. 1. Let me go. 2. 3. 4. And we already saw this one, but go ahead and do 5. All right, thanks for watching. I'm kind of gonna edit this out of order. But yeah, this is like a little art review. This is the beginning. This is gonna be the first part of the art review video. These are like some of my favorites and some of the drawings that inspire me the most, that I always try to like come back to, like stylistically. And like this one was created before I even came up with the contrail species or anything, but it is pretty much contrail or whatever, you know, strongly influenced by Haisho. So thank you, Haisho. Thank you to my other art inspirations. But in this case, I'm gonna just give a shout out to Haisho. Flower Night Takini or Pandemonium Wizard Village are the more notable works by Haisho, if you like this style of art, because he's way better than I am. But that's how all this happened. So thank you so much. Okay, here's the art review. I don't want to chop it up into too many videos. I'm going to try to one-shot it. So like this one's a bit rough. There's really no easy way to do this. So just kind of, and I don't really know what to expect. Oh, this guy's kind of cool. He's weird looking, but I live. Oh yeah, this guy's great. It's contrail actually, not ying. Like contrail's really the name of the species. Ying is kind of like the way that the way that a yinglet would be referred to as a scav is the way that a contrail would be referred to as a ying, more or less. So they're contrails. Most of them kind of would prefer that name. So there we go. What else do we have? Let's look for some more fun art. Ooh. Oh, that's a beautiful story. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and show this. This is just, you know, it's not finished, but it's just like so nice. So nice. Little 2 panels. We'll see how that goes, how that develops further. All right, let's do this one. Yeah, I drew a penguin with a wrench and a radio Oh, I wonder what that reference is. And then this is, I am inspired. He is inspired. He is inspired by this penguin. This fire is hot. Yeah, no, penguins, when they all bunch together, they can create incredible heat by working together. Like fire, flaming hot heat. Like it's a warmth thing. That's how they survive in Antarctica. Yeah, this one's kind of funny. All right. This is like an epistemological argument. You can really see through these pages. And like this is colored pencil, so it's not great, but like, what do I know? And this guy, oh gosh, he's got like snake fangs. Sup. All right, this was okay. Whatever. I'm just having fun. I have so much art that I haven't showed. Some of those you can't even see. Like, I wonder if I can even make this one out. Oh my God. What's he saying? Hold on. Oh, wow, this looks so much better on the camera. Plasma reactor. Wow. This is a really bright, it's like highlighter yellow. And it's a very thin marker. Yeah, even the camera's having a hard time with it. I'm really just jumping around the book. Oh, let's see. Oh God, yes. Oh yes, let's do this one. I don't know, some of these I might have done before, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this. This is a nice little PSA. Check your tire pressure, guys. Come on, let's be safe. Let's avoid car accidents. Just check your tire pressure. It's winter. Things get cold. The tire pressure is going to go down a little bit. It only takes a minute. Awesome. All right, fine. I know I've done this one before, but look. Hey, remember this guy? Be so happy. Yay. Yeah, we can unironically be happy. Let's do that. Happiness is a good thing to have. Oh, like, because I did the hat. Look, I drew a Cadence hat. Another little PSA. Watch your step. Yeah, that's Cadence hat. Yeah, hell yeah. Freaking awesome, man. Batty is a wonderful artist, by the way. And here's this is a character thanking another character. He just says, thanks, Ozzy. Because Ozymandias is a character and his magical power is to like summon book. And so it also can summon book kind of anywhere. And so he can summon books directly into people's hands. Or Ying's hands, or Contrail's hand. And so in this case, he's like, Ozzy summoned a book for the Contrail and he enjoys the book. So he says, thanks, Ozzy. Thank you for summoning the book. Yeah, he's a great character. Okay, I don't want to go too much in this book. I'm looking for anything else that really jumps out at me. Ugh. Some of these are really bad. Like, this is kind of a sketchbook. All right, fine. Okay, this one's funny. All right, this is the last one from this book. Sometimes I do these quotes from IPS. If they can troll you, they control you. I don't really know where this originated from. If they can troll you, they control you. And so this is great because it goes, the other side's a protogen. Oh gosh, what are you looking at me for? Because we all know something about people being reactionary and being immediately trolled by certain original species or certain things like furries, or even in particular in the furry community, some people have certain attitudes about protogens. So there's my attempt. I have not drawn protogens too much, but that's me drawing a protogen. So that is hilarious. That one's really funny if you get it. If they can troll you, they control you. And then there's a protogen. Oh my gosh. I'll like crack myself up. I'm sorry if you guys don't get that, but like that is, it's funny to me. Okay. And it's funny to people who like get the meme. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm not funny. Whatever. You just draw the same yin over and over again. I mean, it's not entirely wrong. It's a fair criticism. That's one of the most recent ones I've drawn, actually. I'm kind of happy with that one. I had some other stuff I want to throw in if I can find it. Yeah. Oh God, I need to put this one up. I really do. This is so cool. This is kind of a self-portrait. This is a preview. But I'll go ahead and spill the beans since you've been probably watching over an hour and 8 minutes of video to get this far. This is 2026 Cake Crash. And 2026 Cake Crash, as you can see, is painting on the wall here. So there you go. Self-portrait of my future self. Who's anyway, no spoilers. Or are there spoilers? I don't know. What's up, 2026 Cake Crash? Woohoo! Oh yeah, that's what's happening. I recently finished this. Let's do this one. This one is freaking awesome, by the way. Look at that one. It's kind of sparkly. Thank you for the glitter pins. Look at them all. And the way this, I did a bunch of little arrows or greater than less than symbols, and then I filled them all in later. And I have this collection of pens, all these different sizes of pens. Here, check it out. Sorry for the amount of darkness. Maybe I'll get better at doing these art review videos too. All right, check it out. Look at all these pens I got. All these different diameters. And here's the side of them. There's these Micron, I think this is Pixma and Artist Loft. Can you see that? Pigma, P-I-G-M-A, Pigma brand, and the Artist Loft. And I love how they have the size of it on the top. It makes it really easy to like pick stuff. My favorite one is probably this 03, the Pigma 03, but I really love these tiny ones. I really love the 005 and the 003. I've been able to draw such amazing, beautiful things with those little tiny ones. And actually the brush I can get, like this Cake Crash, that was originally, the lines on that were done with a brush pen. Like that one's hard to draw with, but it creates really good results. Like honestly, I even showed this to somebody, and they had a hard time reading the brush that's in his hand, and I agree, that's hard to read the paintbrush in his hand. But that's the nature of doing the brush. The brush is big. Look at the thickness of those lines. But also, like with delicate, you can get really, if you're careful, you can get really kind of fine, delicate ends. But it takes practice. I really need to practice more with the brush. But like even these smaller ones, like some of these guys are drawn, these little yings, guys and gals and whatever they are, contrails, are drawn all the way down to that 003 pen, which is amazing. But the favorite one, my favorite one I've been drawing a lot with is the 03. I actually lost that 03 pen, and that's why I even got the Artist Loft. It was totally worth getting the Artist Loft pens because I have more options. And then I found the 03 later. So now I have like a 0.3 in Artist Loft and a 0.3 in Pigma. And honestly, like, I don't know. I need to do more to really get a more thorough review, so I don't want to pick between Artist Loft and Pigma yet. I don't want to spoil my thoughts yet because I haven't used them enough to really give you guys a good honest review about it. All right, I'll just throw this one in too. Just looking at art stuff. It's like formal. Like this one's really rough. It looks horrible. And it ended up spanning to 2 pages. Kind of tried to draw a yinglet there. Are you okay? This is like welcome tree. It's like welcome to the tree. Because he's like kind of, I don't know, there's not really any direction, but I imagine he's floating down. He's about to land on the tree and he's being welcomed. They're funny. They're funny. They say all these random things. All right. Hell, I'm butchering this, but yeah. Look, this one's horrible. It just says predators. It's okay. It's just one color, monocolor colored pencil. And this one, I think I've shared this one before, but I don't know. 2 right hands. Yeah, look, I colored it in. I did the line work, and I added color with colored pencil. I'm blocking a lot of it. All right. I don't want to, you know. Oh, all right. I'm going to end on this one. Just kind of a theme. I saw it on TV isn't evidence. So with that, thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you so much, everybody who's commented, for all these discussions. You know, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful, you know, New Year's or Christmas or whatever. You know, Hanukkah. Yeah, oy vey, happy Hanukkah. I'm sorry. You'll probably think I'm like anti-Semitic at this point, like, which I'm not. Like, you know, this has nothing to do with religion. You know, it's about epistemology. It's about reason. It's about, I saw it on TV isn't evidence. Okay, guys, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Excuse me. All right. Let me read it one more time. Let's just go back to it. Let's go pick another random drawing, and then we'll go back to that one. I really wanted to get in here. If I could find it. If I could find this one drawing. Sorry for like. There. This is more stuff. This is kind of like, you know, whatever. Mystifying. Can't rule in supernatural before ruling out humans. Maybe Bigfoot and lights in the sky. It's not the best drawing, and I even made an error. And like, this isn't necessarily. Anyway. All right. Sweet. Okay, there's one I want to find. I'm really going to push myself to find this quickly, because right now you just have to like stare at the black void. Oh, interesting thing about yings, since I found this page. Yings have the ability to breathe fire, because they have oil and blood. They have 2 circulatory systems, and that's how they can biologically breathe fire. It's not even magical fire. It's purely biological ability. Not all of them, but many of them can, and they can summon fire from their like fingers, and it doesn't have to like be like out of their mouth and stuff. But it's just a cool little drawing I made. And like, I'll just get this guy anyway. Like, just screwing around with the pen, trying to get used to it. Like, what even is this? Anyone want to guess what this is? Because I don't even know. But there you go. If I can swear I find this one drawing. Thank you guys for being patient. Oh my God, I found it. Yes. All right. Awesome. Look at this. This is amazing. You can see I was doing some like real basic structural practice. It's laughing. What are you laughing about? That one in the middle, this one's great. Look at how tiny that is. Look at these 0.003 and 0.005. Oh my gosh. And I have another one, this. Like, and this is just me butchering it. These pens are amazingly capable. And it's just my lack of practice showing, my lack of formal skills. Like, I even had to go back and draw the circle again, just to like, because I just don't practice enough. So here's a little bit of art advice. Practice more. Practice all the time. Just draw over and over and over again. Stop being attached to making every single drawing perfect, except those Bob Ross style happy accidents. You know, I have a lot of passion about art, and I'm gonna just embrace that in my life and my future productions for like YouTube videos and everything, you know. So right on, guys. Ha ha ha. Whew. Working on the eyeballs, doing some different ways of highlights in the eye. Trying to do the mouths too, to emphasize the tongue and the teeth and stuff. Tiny, tiny. Like, look at this, is the size of my finger. Look how small that is. Okay. Anyway, like I said, I'm just going to come back to this and kind of cut the video off. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for watching. I saw it on TV isn't evidence.